Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. It was a success earlier this week, going live on Facebook as well as on Instagram. So I'm doing that again right now. Hello, Peggy. Nice to meet you, actually, to connect with you here. I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes, seeing if anyone is joining. It's late in Europe, I realized. It's still afternoon here in Tulum in Mexico. And today I would like to dive deeper in ownership. The topic of the week and the theme of the week, hello, has been and still is owning your stage and coding your stage. And there are so many depths and so many layers to that. And today I would like to dive deeper in owning and loving our service offerings and what comes with that as well. And something shifted for me last weekend. I joined a beautiful 3-day mini mentorship master class from Ginger. She's really cool. I love her, so shout out to her. And I actually would love to share the process of me joining that again and what that did for me, because that was such a it was so divine and such an embodiment from her side, which opened my eyes in a lot of aspects where I was still leaking energy in terms of giving energy away. So what happened is that I joined one of her programs in January, and that was amazing. She is a projector and is running quite some projects of classes for projectors only, and I'm a projector too in human design. So I joined her classes in January. It was awesome, and I was following her already for quite some time. But then, I don't know, I got triggered. There was something in the field, so I actually unfollowed her in the weeks after on Instagram and completely left my field and my grid. And then last week, I think it was around Wednesday, out of the blue, kind of, I felt called again, like, hey, let me check her account. And didn't do that because I was not following her, right? So I checked her account, and then I saw that she was running another event for projectors only starting on Friday. And for me, that was so beautiful to see how embodied she is in calling me back in, calling the fractal back into her field and into her grid. So that was already, I was like, wow, it's like, this is really cool. This is really, really cool. So I watched some of her stories and I saw some things happening. And then I sent her a message in response to one of the stories. And she didn't reply back. So I the little girl in me, got triggered again in a way that I was like, yeah, what's this, So I was still in that space and I was working through my own stuff, and I kept following her stories. And then I saw her posting something that she was aware that a lot of people were watching her and following her and looking at her, and that she stopped giving any attention to the people just sending kind of random messages, but not really fully in to work with her or to pay for her work. And then I was like, wow, yes, makes a lot of sense, because I'm giving a lot of energy away like that as well. And that was the second thing where I really was aware, just by her embodying her design and her soul and her being so much and living it. Just the role model, how she was modeling it, made me aware again where I was leaking energy. Because for me, when someone reaches out in a DM or in a message, like for a long time, the projector in me was like, yay, oh, someone sees me. And I would be so happy, right? Because there's this thing that we do not feel recognized, especially for projectors. So, and then nothing would really happen, and I was already guiding. Often, sometimes it would be already like such an in-depth guidance, sometimes even in healing and stuff like that. So also bringing me to energetic boundaries and boundaries in daily life, of course. So she exampled that so beautiful that I was immediately, okay, I need to be in that program. So I immediately bought a ticket and I was like, I'm in, I'm gonna do this. And yeah, I'm very grateful for that, because the codes that were shared, they were just, yeah, it was such a big eye-opener for me personally. So again, I want to thank Ginger for her presence and for her beautiful work, and yeah, really, really living her design and owning it, really owning it. So that being said, the first thing that became very clear to me is how many of us, including myself at times still, are giving away our energy. We all do this. And for some of it's we feeling seen or like not necessarily recognized. We all have different reasons why we get like hyped up about it. But it's the question, such an in-depth attention, is that really how we want to navigate our energy? And with that, it's also the ownership of, okay, you know, I know who I am, I know what I do, I know my work, and all these things. And this is for everyone individually, of course, and owning that, really owning that in the deepest depths. Meaning that when we ourselves start to own that, like I went through a big shift myself in the past couple of days. So many things were also recalibrating in my fields. So many things were upgrading. So many things were shifting in a way that I no longer desire to entertain certain things. And there is this thing in our industry, and I've been part of it too, like with our high level service offerings, often we do not drop the pricing. And I get it. I haven't done that either for a long time, because that's also what I learned and yeah, how everyone is doing it. But then again, I'm all about let's bring it back to the individual, because if he or she is doing it, doesn't need to be that it's also working for you, right? So if we bring it back to ourselves, there is this like for me, because I felt really that there is a lack of transparency in that sense, and often it can cause like a feeling of not enoughness, because it's been positioned in certain ways. There's no price tag like on it, and it's like, yeah, you know what, that's not gonna be for me, because that's out of my reach. And we kind of already like we not even diving into it, right? And I've been in that myself with one of the programs that I joined, that it took me months before I had the balls to reach out, to actually reach out and was like, okay, I'm gonna book a call and just I want to figure out what's the investment, all these things. And then it actually was doable at the end, but still that was this whole journey. And what is the realization for me right now is that why are we still making this such a taboo? Why are we not openly speaking about it? Because the abundance is here for everyone. So as long as we keep this a mystery, like a lot of people, like I'm seeing that, I'm witnessing that, I've been in that, and at times I'm still in there, are staying in the not enoughness, not feeling good enough, like not feeling that it's in reach. But is it really? Because it's already in our fields. It's already here, right? But it's about the ownership. It was about the ownership within myself of owning the price tag which is for me aligned for the program, for the mentorship, for the coaching, for the healing session. It doesn't matter. And here, what's so important, what I learned in the past couple of years, is it's not about the price. We require to listen to the body, because our body is leading us. So if I want to put something in the market and I put a price tag on it and I can feel the contraction in my body, I can feel the contraction, then of course that's not going to flow well. So it's about what is our body telling us. And only when we shift into that ownership of like, okay, this is aligned for my body because I can feel it in my cells, in my full body, it's say yes. It's just like owning it. Then things start to shift. And then actually what we can do, we can hold our dream clients or pineapples or solar line clients, however we like to refer to them, in the highest timelines. So what I've been doing for quite some time, and I'm a 3-line in human design, right? So that means that I'm learning by trial and error. So you will see me doing things, and then you will see me shift things around 360 degrees and do things completely different. And then you see me doing something else. This is how I learn. I don't learn by reading the books and stuff. I actually need to do it. And I learn from that what is in alignment for me. So I've been doing these calls. I've been going into these calls, and then when it are higher level mentorships or masterminds, of course, we need to break through certain discomfort in our body, because there is a contraction. If we hear an amount that we require to invest and we've never made that investment, the body is going to contract because it's freaking scary, right? I've been there myself. It's super scary. And it's beautiful to have the guidance in that moment for someone to guide you through that and through that contraction, and already do some grit work and coding, and then bring it back again to the soul to make the sovereign decision based on the free will of the other person, making that choice in joining or not joining. And here's the other thing. When we're choosing to join a program or a mentorship or masterminds, we are not choosing that mentor. We are choosing ourselves. It's about, am I willing to invest in myself? And is that person a frequency match to what I desire to grow into or embody? So it's no longer about the what, the how long. At least for me, it hasn't been already for quite some time. It's like the frequency match. It's the embodiment. It's that on resonance. So with these calls, let me look back to the calls. I call them time shifts call. You will see other people calling them alignment calls, connection calls. It doesn't matter. But we kind of like I would check in with their family of light and with my team if it's in the highest alignment. And lots of time there were money blocks to be dissolved. And with that, what I came back to in the past couple of days is the question that I kept asking myself. Is it my responsibility to lead people through that contraction? Because you're either ready for my work or you're not. You either feel it or you're not. It's that simple. And if there's still like money shits running the show in the background, if I'm opening up myself to that, and I'm opening up myself to actually, when I'm here, to go there to do some work in the hope and in the free will again of that person meeting me in that timeline that I already can see and would love to co-create in, well, is that really in the highest alignment for the clients? Is that really holding my dream clients, my pineapples, in their highest? I came to the conclusion myself in the past couple of days that it's not. It's not holding them in the highest timelines. Hello, Maddie. Beautiful. So I desire and I love to hold my dream clients, my potential clients, in the highest timelines. And it's only by the embodiment of myself that I can do this. So it's in the embodiment of myself believing and owning and feeling, allowing my body to lead me, fully being behind the energy exchange for a program, for masterminds, for masterclass. Doesn't matter what it is. That's key. It's the embodiment of us. So it's never about the money. If I learned something, it's never about the money, because if that's still coming in our field, and I've got a lot of experience with that, trust me, because I still hadn't embodied it fully. And I'm owning that. And it's a journey. So we grow, we evolve, and we're doing this, and we keep going, and we keep going. But once we shift into that, once we start to own that, like a deeper owning in a deeper depth, things are going to change. Obviously, things are going to change, because I no longer are going to leak my energy into fractals, into people, into souls that are actually not at present in alignment with where I am and who I am. And maybe one day they will, maybe not, and that's okay. So I would love to ask you, like, how have you been navigating this? Especially with high-end containers. And for me, I really dig it. I always loved it when it's just upfront, when it's there. So I made some adjustments on my webpage for Coach Your Stage, for example. And you see the pricing now. You see the 3 different levels. There is a payment option of 3 months. There is a pay upfront option. And there is a VIP option, which is including sessions with me and daily support from me. And for the first time ever, I felt like I'm just going to put it out there, and I'm going to put the numbers out there, and I'm not going to keep it a mystery that people first need to get into a call and all these things, and then we're going to feel, no. I desire that I know that my pineapples, my soul aligned clients, people that work with me know that pineapples, I refer as pineapples to pineapples as my soul aligned clients, my dream clients. I just know that those that are ready, they will follow through. They will connect. They will be able to work through that contraction. And if not, they will reach out. They will connect. They will watch some of my videos. They will watch my transmissions and all these things, because they already feel and honor that their body is leading them and that their soul is guiding them. So instead of entertaining certain aspects and things and behavior, I stopped doing that. I completely stopped doing that. And again, that's an internal shift within me. And because I'm owning that, I'm owning my stage now in a deeper depth, in a different level. Meaning that I'm holding my clients and my potential clients also in the highest, which is different than it was last week because I quantum shifted. So the energetic boundaries are so important in this. And it's coming back to us again. It's coming back again to that ownership of ourselves. What are you tolerating? Because you get what you tolerate. I get what I tolerate. So when I keep doing this and I keep playing here in the hope that people starting to meet me here, then this is what I keep experiencing. Then there's like the response, like I don't have the money, that will come into my fields. It will keep coming into my field up until I now set a stop to it. And it's like, no longer. This is enough. This has been enough. And I immediately see a change. I immediately feel a change. And with the current energies, it's like, boom, and here we go. It's almost instant. There's barely a delay. There's barely a delay. And please understand. And I know you all understand this, because otherwise you would not be here in this channel. It's 80% frequency and it's 20% soul-aligned action. So it's a frequency game. It's much more about what frequency am I emitting into the fields. So the work is about holding ourselves in those timelines. And it's not even work. It's the more you are who you truly are, unapologetically, it doesn't require any work. Because you will be dancing, you will be having a good time, you will enjoy daily life, and as you are doing that, you will receive the inspiration and the downloads and things just starting to flow. And when you are in the void, you navigate that too. In your way, it's about bringing it back to you. What's working for you? And we are all different, so what's working for me does not necessarily need to work for you. I will never ever tell you what to do. I will give you examples, I will guide you, looking at your field and feeling your energy and feeling your body and feeling and tuning in. But it's coming back to you. And for some of you, it's gonna be just like me, a trial and error process. For others, it's going to be just like diving into it and learning and taking it in and then doing it. It's different for everyone. So honor your own flow. Honor the energy within yourself. And keep bringing it back. Keep bringing it back to your body. And another question that I would love to ask you is, where are you leaking energy at present? Where are you directing energy to, which is actually not bringing you or gifting you anything? And it's kind of, I'm gonna just name it how it is, it's fucked up, because I also truly believe that the universe doesn't work like oh, this and that. It's not that abstract. So we can give to the one person and we can receive something back from a completely different angle, unexpectedly. So it's not that abstract, but to me it became so important to honor the inner cycle, to honor the inner flow, to honor my body and allowing my body to lead me. It's the most advanced technology we are working with. It is. It truly is. So where are you leaking energy? Where are you redirecting energy? Whilst you actually should redirect it back to you. What's bringing you joy? What's bringing you pleasure? What's lighting you up? And how can you own truly embodied what you are offering? Because as long as there's any doubt, as long as there's anything not fully aligned, it's gonna be reflected back to you in the fields. And again, I'm talking from experience. And it has been a long journey and it has not always been fun. And it has caused me a lot of fear and scarcity and lack and abundance and then lack. And it's a roller coaster up until we get into that next level of embodiment. Or like I would just like to say, the next level of ownership. So when we truly anchor, when you truly anchor in the inner knowing, in the wisdom, in the belief that whatever you are creating, your journeys, your arts, your healing sessions, is been created because your soul tribe already asked for it. You simply heard the calling. And I've said this before, maybe even in the last life. You heard the call. So knowing this, that the desire was there before you put out the offering into the field, doesn't that make everything completely different? Doesn't that give a completely different feel to it? And then owning your own energy, honoring your own energy. You are not for everyone. I'm not for everyone. And that's okay. It took me a long time to be okay with that. It took me a really long time to be okay with that. And then there are still days that I'm okay with it, and then there are still days that I'm like, I'm not okay with that. Again, that's part of the journey too, and it's okay, whether we like it or not. But it's that transparency, going back to the pricing. I'm hopping a little bit, but it's okay. Going back to the pricing, is that transparency when we share openly, this program is 5.5K, or this mentorship is 5.5K. We also modeling that it's in reach for everyone. But if we keep the mystery around it, again, I feel this is just me, right? What I'm feeling. I'm not saying that it's the truth. This is my truth in this moment. I feel that we keep people in the not-enoughness, in the lack, in the scarcity. There's one beautiful soul, and some of you Dutchies will absolutely know her, Celine Charlotte, and also shout out to her in the most loving way. She's so Dutch, so direct. I love it. But she is so straightforward and open and transparent in her pricing, and not only for her programs, but also just in daily life, when she's staying at an Airbnb, when she's buying a car, when she's buying a house, when she's traveling, when she's going to a retreat. And I love that so much, because by her sharing it, it's showcasing to other people, including myself, like, hey, if she's doing it and she's paying that, actually, that means that I can do it too. And there is still such a taboo around this, especially in the spiritual world and in the coaching industry. It's like there are infinite timelines, but let's bring it back to 2 timelines where we have, I'm just going to call it how I feel this, de geitenwolle sokken, where it's like, we cannot earn money because we are healers, and we need to live like very basic because that's like, yeah, how it should be. And there's this like, no, abundance is for everyone. I don't know where you are at, but I freaking love luxury. I always did. I always traveled. I always loved my beautiful things. I love my MacBook. I love beautiful garments, like all these things. I love fine dining. I loved wines in the past. I don't drink any alcohol anymore, but it's about that. Where are you aligning yourself with at present? And there's no good or no wrong. There's no judgments. But what would happen if we start to tap into the infinite abundance? And what would happen to just share openly? This is the energy exchange. And then see what happens. And see what it's doing with your body. And again, when I'm opening the doors to my mastermind starting in September, I still will have time shift calls, because that's a different dynamic. That's a different way of entering this container. And yeah, so it's also product specific. There are things that we can simply just launch, and you are there or you're not. And I saw myself in very much conditioning, and the conditioning was all mine. And it started to feel very heavy in a way that I got a business model that I felt like, this is it. This is so epic. This is so awesome. And I saw it working with someone else and with multiple people. And I thought like, yeah, this is amazing. And then it started to feel dense to my body. But it was feeling dense already for quite some time, but I was not listening to my body. My body was leading me, but I was not honoring the whispers. I was not honoring the language, and I kept pushing, and I kept pushing, and I kept pushing. Up until last week, when I really sat down, and I was like, this is not working. Not right now. And I had to make some changes. So this is another thing. Our service offerings are living consciousness. I'm going to repeat this. Our service offerings are living consciousness. Your service offerings are living consciousness. So it can happen that from one day to the next day, the name of the service offering is changing. The price, the energy exchange of the service offering is changing. The avatar of the service offering is changing. Because as you ascend, as you grow, as you evolve, you tell me, the service offerings do too. And here is why it's so important to own your stage. Again, offline, online. Because only then we can code our stage based on our unique soul frequency and frequency signature. So now you know that your products and your service offerings and your mentorship programs and your coaching and your artwork, everything is evolving and ascending with you. Doesn't it that also make a little bit more gentle and easier to lean into that? That you are the custodian, so you can change at any given moment in time. So why do we then sometimes keep holding on to something? Whilst our soul already evolved, our soul is already playing somewhere else, and we and our human are still, yeah, but this is it, and it needs to be like that. Can anyone relate? And if you're tuning into the replay, please drop in the comments if you can relate to that. Because this is deep conditioning that we all have in our codex, in our templating, and this is the work that we are doing. And I actually would love to give an example. When I started last year and I felt the call to create a group program, it was a program back then still, now it's turned into a mentorship, and in September it's gonna be a mastermind. But there you already see just this program, mentorship, mastermind. You see the evolution. That's because I shifted. That's because I grew. So last year in February, I started the program with the name Pleasure After Trauma. And I kid you not, I created a brochure, I was completely done, my coach checked it, and there were a lot of fine-tuning, and yeah, I was happy with it. And the next day, this was like about 4 weeks or 6 weeks after that I came up with that name, I woke up and I was like, no, it feels too dense, I don't feel it anymore. Pleasure After Trauma, no, it feels too dense, I don't feel it. And I stressed out, I freaked out. I was like, what is this? I've been working for 2 months on this thing now, and I was fully in it, and it was a full body, yes, and everything. And now it's like too dense? What the fuck, Nishanthi, what is this? So I reached out to my mentor, and I shared this with her, and she's like, yeah, then you change the name. I was like, but can I do that? And she's like, of course, it's a living consciousness, so you have evolved, so the program has evolved. So Pleasure After Trauma evolved into the Homebody Codex. And as I wrote that down in my journal last year, I also already wrote down the Goddess Rising Collective. but I didn't feel ready for that yet. It was there, but I could feel that it was literally out of body. It was like somewhere here, but it was not here. So I allowed it to be what it was, and I started working with the Home Body Codex, and that felt really aligned. That was like, yes, I can feel this, and it felt light, and it felt expansive, and it felt really good and delicious. And then a couple of months later, I was like, actually, the Home Body Codex, it still feels aligned, but it's a codex within the Goddess Rising Collective. And there, the Goddess Rising Collective popped up again, which again already surfaced at the beginning of this whole process. And here again, I would like to point out that I'm learning by trial and error. So this is my process, and I'm taking you all. Sometimes it can feel chaotic, but I'm taking you all with me in that process. So there are people that can wait patiently for these 7 to 9 months where I was birthing this mentorship. Often it's 9 months. That's the beauty. It's often 9 months. But that's not me. And there are people that can do that and then honor that. If you can do that, oh man, just do it. Like, I'm not built like that, and I tried to do it, and that was costing me more energy than just surrendering and doing it my way and already talking about it and communicating about it. So feel what's aligned for you. So eventually, 7 months in, Pleasure After Trauma became the Home Body Codex, became the Goddess Rising Collective, shifted from a program into eventually a mentorship, which is amazing. And this shows the evolution. This shows the evolution of my growth and how that is reflecting back in our products, in our service offerings, in our journeys, in our work, in our arts. It's art. We're all creating art, right? So with that, as we are growing and evolving, of course the energy exchange is expanding with us. So here, what I learned is to really honor the body. And this has been very difficult for me because there was a lot of ego in my field, and I'm gonna own this now as well. There was a lot of ego that I didn't want to serve certain people any longer, because that was really, it was exhausting for me and my human and my body. I was feeling drained. I was feeling not empowered, not enthusiastic. I was like almost turning away from the thing that I love the most. So because of that, I set like higher standards in a way that I started to use a higher end pricing exchange. The thing is this, my ego wanted that because of the reasons I just shared with you. But my soul and also my humans hadn't embodied fully in that, in the ownership of fully owning, like, okay, my program is gonna be a couple of €1,000 and it's worth it. I know it. So because that was not there was still resistance in the fields. And it was this push and this pull and this push and this pull. Again, coming back to me. So what I eventually did, and in Coach Your Stage, I'm going to share much more about that, is there are so many ways to still kind of call in people where we already work with a certain price tag and still offer what feels comfortable for where we actually are. So that our human is starting to grow in that expansion and getting used to it and having these conversations and just owning it and embodying it. And there's so many playful ways that we can do this. That's the thing, there's not one way, there are infinite ways, and again, this is different for everyone. So, to just recap, it's a deeper level of ownership. It's a deeper level of like, okay, I'm just I'm tolerating even less in my fields. And in all honesty, people that know me and people that are close to me, they know that I'm like, not a lot of people have access to my energy. And that's by choice. And the people that do have access to my energy, and right now at present, that's through the energy exchange. That are no longer the relationships that are draining my energy. And if that sometimes still happens, I remove myself from that. And if I see certain things unfolding in the field and there's a little bit of mismatch, instead of, I don't want to say going down because that doesn't do justice. So instead of meeting each other where we can meet, and that means that sometimes one needs to lower and sometimes one needs to go a little bit higher, I simply stopped doing that. Already since the beginning of the year, I stopped doing that. I stopped tolerating that. It was either like, yeah, you can meet me here and it's so much fun and I would love for you to join me. And otherwise, it's okay too. I would love to hear from you how it feels for your body to be more transparent about the energy exchange. And with the energy exchange, I mean, I'm referring to the pricing. How does that feel to your body? Because like for me in the past couple of days, transparency has been a theme, a topic. And yeah, I just feel that there's still so much more transparency. In a way, I wouldn't say needed, but we can still make some massive changes there. And transparency is going hand in hand for me with being raw, being real, being your unapologetic self, your authentic self, and owning your stage, owning your words. And your word is not even, it cannot be expressed in money. And this is the thing, actually. Money will not be even here anymore in future timelines. So when we bring it back to the surface, when we completely detach from the money and we bring it back to like, okay, how can I, in what way can I impact humanity? Can I impact my soul tribe? Taking money completely out of the equation. That's what I've been working on in the past couple of months, and this is also what shifted me now in the ownership of like, okay, this is it, and you either get it and you like it and you want to get to know me or you want to learn more or not. But I'm no longer gonna hold your hand and please come. No, fuck hell no. I've been doing that. It has not been working for me. It has absolutely not been serving me. And I'm no longer gonna do that. I'm no longer gonna entertain that. With that though, there's gonna be more service offerings. There's gonna be more beautiful living consciousness that are being seeded and blooming and starting to open up. That people can enter in different levels and entries. So there will be a mastermind, which is high level. There will be a mentorship. There will be like master classes. And there's private mentorship, which is the highest way of co-creating together in a way that you have direct access to me 24/7. Well, not when I'm sleeping or when I'm busy, but you get what I mean. It's really bringing it back to you in owning, and what's working for you. No matter what the world is telling you, no matter what the noise around you is telling you, no matter what your coaches and mentors and other teachers have been telling you, you. Bring it back to you. And if your body is saying yes, if your spleen, if your sacral, if your solar plexus is telling you yes, if your heart is telling you yes, then that's the sign. But it's the body. It's truly the body. And honoring that. Do you have any questions? or anything to share, I would love to hear from you. Either on Facebook or on Instagram. It's still working to go live on both. It's very, very exciting. And if you're still online, please say hi. Again, my projector really likes it to have the engagement and to feel recognized and to be recognizing each other. It's also that aspect of owning your stage and owning who you are and being present in the vortex, being present in this now moment, in this weaving of magic. And if not, it's okay. I will keep and continue to invite you in these lives. Let me know if you do have any questions. Either drop them in the comments when you watch the replay or send me a DM. And I welcome you to check out the webpage for Coach Your Stage. We are starting in April, and I limited to 6 places only because I want to keep it a very small, intimate group that I really have my eyes on you and my full attention for you. There's an option to upgrade it if you want to receive even more guidance and support privately in private sessions as well. So check it out. And if you have any questions, do let me know. And for now, I'm sending you lots of love. Keep honoring and listening to your body. Your body is guiding you. And own the pricing and the energy exchange, your service offerings. And hold your clients in the highest. Your potential clients, your pineapples. Because those that are ready, they will connect with you. They will find you. They will be like, oh yes, thank you. They will actually do, oh yes, they will see it as a thank you. Like, wow, if she is like playing there now, I'm gonna play there. And they will work with that shit themselves. And if there's any additional support needed, like, this is an invitation to you. What I would love is when you see, for example, that the new program, Code Your Stage, is 5.5K. When you see that and you feel a contraction, what I would love to see, and I know this is most likely asking for some of you a lot, but this is the leadership that I desire to work with. This is the type of leadership and the type of woman or man that I desire to work with, is to then have the balls and to reach out. Even if it's in a comment on a post or in the YouTube or in a DM, in a direct message, but get a hold of me. And then, for example, I can do a live just about that or around that. How can we dissolve that? What can we do? How can we move through that? But you are leading. And it's that leadership that's quantum leaping into the next level, moving through the discomfort with grace and ease whilst already being open to receive the support. So yeah, let that sink in. I'm sending you all so much love, wishing you a beautiful night for most of you in Europe. Yeah, let me know how you're feeling and see you soon. Bye.